Hello, this is Shaun Thomas, and today I'm going to demo my final project for EGR425, which is called Smart Shopper. So essentially what this is it allows me to talk to my M5, and it will make smart suggestions for me about things I can buy, and then it will display it to me on my phone so I can get the actual shopping links and view the items in detail. So here's my original shopping list. There's nothing in it currently. Then if I click start, I believe, or select, it shows me items that I can add, but there's no items currently available to me yet. So I can make a call to get items to view. But first I'm gonna go ahead and change my zip code. Um, Currently it's on 95762. But I can go ahead and change this to CVU zip code, which is 92504. Then I can save that. Um, then now I can go to my recording screen, and here I can record a short little audio clip, and that will be sent to my backend. Uh, so I guess one thing I could say is if I press record, say I'm hungry and want something to eat, and that saves that audio. And then now I can send the audio to my backend, and the audio will be sent with the zip code parameter in the query, and it will find items that are close to my zip code inside my city, pretty much because the zip code gets converted to a city and state. And then it'll take that audio, transcribe it, use an LLM to get a list of items that I can search up, and then those items will be sent into SERP API to find actual products that can be bought. So now that the request was successful, I can go back to my shopping list. There's nothing currently in it, so I can go to suggestions, and now that should be populated. Um, so I can go ahead and add items I want. And they now should appear in my shopping list if I scroll up. As you can see. And if I didn't want to have these items anymore, I could press start to get rid of all of them, and then go to my shopping list and choose them again. And here they are again. And now that I have these items, I can go ahead and broadcast them to my BLE. So now my BLE is broadcasting, and I can text my M5 on my phone. So my M5's name is right here, Shaun 2026. All right, now I'm connected to my M5, and if I start scrolling, as you can see, the items show up here based on what's selected, so I can view them on my phone with more detail. As you can see here, we see the price, the location that you can buy them, and if there are reviews, you can view those. Um, and then you can also click the image to see more detail about it um, inside of Google. So that's pretty much all of the functionality I want to show. Now I'm going to walk through some of the code. So here, so I'm going to walk through some of my code from the app, the backend, and the M5. So first I'm going to start with the backend. Essentially what happens here is we just are looking for post requests, and we try to get the zip code and the WAV file. And that just gets transcribed, and then we get suggestions and then turn that to a shopping list. And here are all the helper functions that do that. Again, these all pretty much just make API requests from converting the audio to text, converting the text into a list of suggestions and then looking up actual shopping items to get from those suggestions. Um, and then next I'm going to show my uh, React Native code. Here's the BLE manager. So what this does essentially is it connects to my phone or it connects my phone to my M5. So here's my service and characteristic UUID, and these are the exact same on my M5, so I can connect pretty easily, just needing the M5's actual name. Um, so it just pretty much looks for the M5's BLE, and um, down here, essentially what happens, this is kind of interesting, is that the M5's BLE can't handle an entire suggestion JSON, so I needed to chunk them all into smaller pieces, and that's what's happening here. And this checks to see if all the items that are sent from the JSON or sent from the BLE to the JSON are complete, and if it is, we have a valid JSON that can be displayed on the phone. So that's pretty much the BLE manager that I use on my phone side, and then here's pretty much just the front end of the phone's app. Now I'm going to walk through my M5 code. First, I'm going to start in main. So what happens here is we are essentially just using the um, provided code inside of their docs, the M5 unified docs, to record audio, and that's done here. And then here I modified it to convert the audio um, into data that can be saved on the SD card right here. Um, and then right here, that's what happens as well. It gets chunked and saved into the SD card. Here's our setup. Just setting up different services, stuff like that. Um, and then setting up the seesaw right here. Here's our loop. This is just essentially to navigate what screen we want to be on. As you can see here, these are all just different screens that we're selecting based on the seesaw's input. Next, I'm going to look at the BLE CPP file. A lot of this isn't used, so I had to try to figure out how to navigate around being able to only send small pieces of data. I believe the only real thing I'm using pretty much is BLE stop. BLE notify single item, which again just chunks the item I want to send over JSON and repeatedly sends it until the phone app's able to get all of it. And I believe I'm also using BLE setup as well, which just sets up the service and characteristic so that we can listen to it from the phone. Then I have a corresponding BLEH file. Config.h, essentially just a lot of the hard-coded stuff that I'm using so that I can change it easily right here. Same thing with globals pretty much as well. I guess globals are just different variables that are being shared around the code. And then I have my H file for that. Input.cpp is just the Adafruit seesaws functions so that we can move the functions or move the joystick and get the button inputs, stuff like that, and then corresponding H file. Network.cpp. This just essentially, this function is the update suggestions function, which updates the suggestions variable with the networks or with the API calls JSON. This is the send recording function, which takes the wave file from the specified path, which I believe was record.wave or something like that, and that sends it to the endpoint along with my zip code. So it also sets the Wi-Fi up inside of this function, makes my request, and then closes the Wi-Fi, mainly so that I don't have the audio conversion, the Wi-Fi, and the BLE all in memory at the same time. because I had issues with memory allocation using all three of those things at the same time, which is also why BLE only works when you do it at the very end. Here's my corresponding H file. Um, this H file is just for my screen state and suggestion struct. And then here's my UI.cpp file, which is just writing all the single functions for drawing different screens and stuff like that. And then here's the corresponding H file for that. So that's all the functionality and code that I wanted to show for my EGR425 final project, Smart Shopper.